Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today I want to talk to you guys about a really kind of underrated and overlooked champion in the game, and that is Urgot. Now, I really like Urgot, and I think he is actually really strong, and he's kind of one of the most misunderstood champions in the entire game. So, I wanted to make a whole video, and the title of the video, obviously, is What, When, and Why Urgot. And that is what is Urgot? When should you play Urgot? And why really should you play Urgot? Well, Urgot is he's really confusing. He's really weird. He is a kind of like an AD carry, but he is kind of a caster at the same time because his auto attack range is so short. He's he's kind of like a mage AD carry, AD caster type thing. He's like, I would like to think of him as like a Cassiopeia Xerath mix, but the AD version of that. And a lot of people that a lot of things that people one of the main reasons people struggle with Urgot is they don't know why to play him. Like, when should you play him? There are other champions that can do things like that so much better. Like, why not just play Xerath or Ziggs or someone who could just poke from range? And that's really because if you have, like, let's say an 80 jungle and an 80 top, and then your 80 carry, you already have a lot of AD. And so a Thorn, even if you are AP, a Thornmail is going to counter your team insanely hard. And those mages that I just mentioned get countered really hard just by pure HP. The MR, yeah, it helps, but the HP is what really kills them. So if you're playing Urgot, and I'll show you guys the math on this, the amount of armor pen you get for both your team and yourself is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, really. You can turn a tank's armor into butter, and then your entire team can just melt through them like it's nothing. And your E can proc so many things for different armor pens, like Black Cleaver, his passive. So let's move on to what I like to build on Urgot. Now, Urgot has a ton of different build options, and he can be really versatile in what he builds, but and now his starting items, you start with Longsword most of the time, but you can also go Crystal and Flask. I don't think Doran's Blade is nearly as strong as these two options because I like to really play aggressive, and the sustain that you get from the health pots and obviously the Crystal and Flask is really nice to have, but the damage you get on the Longsword really kind of makes up for it. But you're obviously going to do still a lot of damage even if you get the Crystal and Flask. Those core items, obviously you're going to get the Muramana. I mean, the single target damage you get from that, and the fact that you can spam your spells and your Q a lot more really help. It really helps that because, I mean, your E is really mana heavy, especially early game, and it helps kind of to make up that deficit so you can trade more and spam that E more and spam your Q more. And so you want that Last Whisper as well because it helps with that whole armor pen and turning your enemy's armor into butter, so you can just straight up melt through them. The Frozen Heart, it really goes with that Muramana, and it helps with it gives you a little bit of armor and that nice attack speed slow. But the mana is really what you get that for. In the optional for late game, the Essence Reaver is really good because it gives you this the sustain with the auto attacks, but you don't really auto attack that much, so it's not like it's like a necessary item. Black Cleaver, really good item. I would recommend this item 90% of the time. Bork, pretty good if you're going against like a really tanky team where like if it's just like health like Mundo or something like kind of Garen. Then Bork is good, or if you need to kite somebody. Triforce is pretty good. I mean, I don't usually build Triforce. Hex Drinker as well. I don't really usually build it, but it's still a pretty good item. And then Iceborne Gauntlet is really good. I mean, it helps with the kiting, and you get the Sheen proc off your Q. But I would only really get it if you like really need to kite, or if you're doing a good job, or if you can't really if there were like enemies that can escape really easily. And a lot of these items he does really well with fur because it's not just auto attacks that give you that little boost. It's single target spells, so you're constantly getting the speed up bonus from Q. Now his abilities are pretty cut and dry. His Q and auto attacks work with his passive because his passive decreases armor by like 10 to 15%. His Q is just a skill shot. His that does some damage. It's kind of like an auto attack reset almost. When you hit your E on a champion, it increases your Q's range, as you can see. Your W is a little shield that increases with your mana, and when you have your E, or no, you don't have to have your E on them, but when you have your shield active and you auto attack or Q an enemy, it applies a pretty decent sized slow. It's not really that much, but it's enough to where you can stay on them and be sticky. And then your ult gives you some magic and armor, magic resistant armor, and swaps places with them. Now laning with Urgot is pretty simple. He does really well against almost all of the current meta mages, and it's really good. I mean, he does so much damage, and his CS is pretty good. Now, one of my complaints about Urgot, because I know a lot of people say that Urgot needs reworks, is his auto attack range. His auto attack range does make it kind of hard when you're facing like a really high poke laner like Ziggs and stuff. But one of the frustrating parts and one of the good parts about Urgot is that his poke can go through minions, and that's one of the things that makes, when you look at some of the strong, really meta champs, that's one of the things that makes them strong. Because like Lux and Ahri's Q, when you can poke them through the minion wave and they're no longer safe by hiding through minions, that's really strong. His roaming is really good because of his ult. He could catch out enemies pretty well, and obviously his damage is really good. He does pretty decent damage, and yeah, his ult is great at catching out people. So as you can see here, enemies like Morgana and people with a lot of high CC, you can really punish them for making any kind of mistake. Like if they get too close to you and you can hit your E on them, or if you see that you're getting a gank, I mean, you could just straight up melt them, and it turns into a pretty easy kill. And he snowballs really, really hard, which is something that is pretty strong in a champion that I love. Now, team fighting with Urgot is honestly kind of frustrating, because I promise if you follow this guide, every time you're going to be insanely fed, and the lack of mobility makes it really hard for you to team fight because they just want to focus you so hard. So, but you kind of play an AD carry role, but you can really do multiple things. You can engage fights with your ult, but your ult can also be a repositioning type thing. You can play kind of like you could just sit back and kind of poke every once in a while. And as you can see here, I kind of switch between just sitting back and poking and just and really kind of getting in there. My team does really, really well. My Janna does really well at kind of separating them, and we really take advantage of that. You can also use your ult to keep enemies in the fight, if you're worried about them escaping, as I was right there. And yeah, so I mean, he's really, really strong. His team fighting is pretty great. His laning is great. Now with runes, I run my regular 80 caster runes. Masteries, same thing, 80 caster. And so thanks guys for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Spread it around, give me a like, comment, subscribe to me if you liked it. And I'd really like and appreciate it if you guys gave me some feedback on what you think about the videos. I want to apologize again for the poor video quality, but and comment what you'd like me to do in the future for videos. I have some ideas, like doing just duoing with friends and posting those games. Getting the whole video camera up in there and all that. So yeah, if you want me to do your champion, just give me a comment down below and I might do it. Thank you, and see you guys next time.